Up here. All right. Morning. Welcome. That's right. Show some love. Show some love. Share the hearts. Show some love. Share the hearts, ladies and gentlemen. Show some love. Share the hearts. Share the hearts. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. That's right. Share, share, share. Thank you, Sister Denise. Thank you very much for sharing. Share, share, share. Let's go. Welcome, Meerkatters. Welcome. All right. There she is. Miss Atlanta Realtor. Thank you. Thank you for joining. All right. All right. All right. Make sure you share. Everybody. I need for everybody to share. Everybody to share. If we're all in business, we want referrals, right? So we have to give referrals. Thanks for sharing with your followers, Atlanta. Thank you very much. Walaikum salam. Welcome, 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 everybody over there at Meerkat. Talking about the money game. The money game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to deal with that subject for a while. The money game. All right. Going to share some things that I learned as a stockbroker. And since then, because once they say your mind is like a rubber band, once it's been stretched, it never goes back to its original size. So my mind, yeah, him. So those that have know, those who don't have don't know. And there's various degrees, Tyler Perry, various degrees in between. Let's go ahead and hit the hearts, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and share and go ahead and let me know where you're from. If this is your first time here, put new in the stream. If this is your first time here, put new in the stream. And we're going to jump right into it. Kind of got a late start in setting up this morning. So we don't want to rush, but we do want to be respectful of time. It's only going to be about 30 minutes. It's only be a respectful of time of about 30 minutes total. We're going to be out of here, hopefully, at the bottom of the hour. And I can't get Meerkat to stay straight. So go ahead and share it, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and share it. Get your notepads out and your pen. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're just saying that I just wanted to come and share with you some of the things that I've learned as a financial advisor. And since then, because these are things we need to know, right? These are things we need to know. If you don't know it by now, let me be the first to tell you that America and this society has unfortunately gone to the point where every man for himself and God for us all. And those who don't understand that won't accept that fact, has their head in the sand and think that, oh no, that won't happen to us. They're going to be rudely awakened, but not just them, ladies and gentlemen. The sad part about it is, what about our future generation? What about our children, right? I asked a question many, many years ago, why do people with so much money, still trying to make more money? Well, I've learned a couple of things, and here's some of the lessons on the money game. One, they don't do it for money, because at some point in time, you reach a level of financial success and level of, income, if you will. You can buy a Mercedes, right? Thank you very much. You can buy a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce, or even a Bugatti, right? But then it gets into how many Bugattis can you get? So at some point in time, it's just more of the same, right? It's not better. It's just more of the same. You can only buy, the highest quality of clothing. Then after that, you just get more of those. But one of the other reasons why I recognize why wealthy people would constantly build, because it's not about money. Right? When you're hungry, it's about food. When you're thirsty, it's about water, right? But they've learned that it's not about money. It becomes now an internal accomplishment, right? It's because they want to see how much more they can accomplish. They want to see really what's their maximum human capability when it's about finances, money. And see, that's what resonated with me. Right? That's what's resonated with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking for people out there in cyber world who are looking to see what is their maximum human capability as far as generating income. Not for yourself, but to share and give, right? To share and give. So that's why we wanted to talk about today how to win the money game. How to win the money game. And go ahead and restream it over there, Meerkat. Go ahead and restream it, because we're about to say how to play the money game and the three enemies. All right? The three enemies. Because if we're out here, right, and it's called free enterprise. Free enterprise. Mean that we're free to get out here and do our thing. We're free to get out here and determine what's available and what's best for us All right. So it's free. It's almost like the wild, wild west with minimal guidelines and minimal rules in business. Right. Because there's some things you can do in business that you can't do in just a regular society. Right. There are different rules to business. There's different rules to, living socially, these kind of things. And we're going to share these with the series that we're doing here, how to play the money game, So I said to say, there's always enemies, right? There's always enemies. There's enemies to your body. There's enemies to your spirit. There's enemies to your mind. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here to tell you unequivocally, unfortunately, we're not taught on our enemies, right? We're not taught what to look out for. If you were a baby animal in the wild, your parents, your mother, your parents will teach you who to stay away from, right? And who are your natural enemies. Everything in nature has a natural enemy, right? So these things we have to know. We have to understand what are the enemies of those that's trying to win the money game. See, we're not taught what our enemies are. So therefore, we're what? We're taken advantage by our enemies, right? We're taking advantage of those that who do know the enemy. There you go. Every Jesus, there's a Judas. Absolutely. All right. So we have to know what are these money game of these enemies to your money. You have enemies to your money, natural enemies to your money. And when it said natural enemies, ladies and gentlemen, is for you and I to know that that enemy has no good for you. They're your natural enemy. They can't help it, right? They can't help being your enemy, right? That's why the scripture says, wolves in sheep clothing, right? It's your natural enemy. They might come dressed up like they're trying to help you, right? Like a payday loan service, right? But they're not there to help you. They're not there to help. They're your natural enemy. So we want to talk about today very quickly the 3 enemies to your money. The 3 enemies to your money. Once you identify your enemies, now you're aware of them. Now when you see them coming, you can be alert, right? And then you can now put together plans and strategies in place so as you will not be victimized. See, that's the word, victimized by these 3 enemies. Now, what we're going to do is about 10 minutes to the bottom of the hour. We're going to open up for questions, ladies and gentlemen, because when it comes to money, we should have questions, because if we want to be honest about it, we don't know, right? Anything about money per se. We don't know anything other than make money and spend money. But when it comes to investing, that's something that we don't know. And the only thing that we do know is what the masses of the people have been taught, but not folks that Anthony Robbins interviewed in this book. They don't follow the same strategies, ladies and gentlemen, that you and I are taught and told to follow. See, this is what we have to understand. If it was about being smart, the smartest person would be the richest person, right? If it was about strength, the strongest person would be the heavyweight champion of the world. So it's not the obvious, right? It's not the obvious, ladies and gentlemen. So here's enemy number 1. Enemy number 1, and it's not in a particular order. Well, let me see if I can prioritize right. Okay. Well, here it is. Enemy number 1 is interest. Interest, right? Let me write it down. Interest. I-N-T-E. Interest. How you spell interest? How you spell interest? Let me do it like this. I don't even know how to spell interest. Yeah, you don't have to know how to spell either. That's a good thing. All right. Here you go. Definitely an enemy. Here you go. Interest. Right? Interest. Interest is how much money, how much you pay, how much you pay on money. Right? How much money is costing you. There you go. I did have it right. Thank you. Thank you, Atlanta. See, that's why Jesus had all women around him at all times. Probably because the disciples couldn't spell. All right, interest. Interest. So interest is how much money you pay. you pay for money. It's how much you pay for money, right? So it's interest. Enemy number one, put that in there, somebody. Enemy number one is interest, right? At some point in time, you will need interest. You will need to borrow money to build wealth. All right. Borrow money to build wealth. So interest. They get us on interest. There's even in the book of the Muslim called the Quran, interest, high interest payments called usury is forbidden, right? Is forbidden. So interest that you pay on borrowed money, your credit card interest, it's a certain percentage if you pay it on time. It's another percentage if you don't. Right? So if you and I can learn, first of all, be aware that interest is my enemy as a consumer. We're talking about learning the money game. You learn it where you are first. You learn the rules to the money game where you are first. And that's as a consumer. Because interest is your friend if you're loaning money. But if you're ethical, you wouldn't want to gouge people. All right. So interest, understanding interest. And some of you all probably know, Atlanta can probably tell you, compounding, I learned this as a stockbroker, compounding interest. Interest on top of interest on top of interest. Now we're talking about investments, right? That's where the power of interest works for you. But we're talking about right now, interest as an enemy. Interest as a way of sucking money out of your pocket. It's just a way of sucking money out of your pocket. All right. So enemy number one is interest. Make sure you're aware of your interests, right? They know most people hate to deal with their finances because it's not a habit that they've developed. And then their finances are ugly, right? And even when it's not ugly, we like to deal with it on the incoming side, but not as much on the outgoing side, right? So we end up getting things that cost us more in interest, all right? So once you know the enemy number one is interest, now start going through your credit card bill and see how much interest they're charging you, right? See how much they're charging you on your car loan, how much interest. And I'll tell you some tricks of the trade that I didn't learn as a stockbroker, that how you can really flip it and use that to your advantage. So number one is interest. Number two, and now we're getting into the devil. We're talking about an enemy. These are definitely devils to your money. All right. The next one is, and I don't know what order coming because they're about neck and neck, as the old folks say. But the other one is inflation. Inflation. Enemy number two to your money. And you have to learn these things if you're going to win at the money game. Right? At the money game. Number two, thank you, is inflation. Thank you, Atlanta Realtor. Is inflation, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably the biggest one, but let's just talk about it real quick. Very simply, inflation means the value of the dollar goes down because the cost of goods go up. Right? The value of a dollar goes down as cost of goods go up. Now, if you get the book that I'm reading called The Second Choice, and I recommend everybody get it, by Robert Kiyosaki, you'll know that inflation was fixed, right? Inflation was fixed when President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. Inflation was fixed, meaning that it was set to take off, right? To increase. And that's where we are today, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that the bread today is any better than the bread that my mom and dad used to have, but it costs 10 times more. It's not better. It's just a devaluation of the dollar. Right? So that's why we have to understand, us laymen, us lay people, us who still trading time for money as an employee or as self-employed, right? Self-employed or employee. We're still trading time for money. So this inflation thing, man, this thing is powerful because, see, when I was a stockbroker, we used the number in projections of 4%. Borrow money. That's right. You're absolutely right. And we use the number of 4%, ladies and gentlemen, but there's no 4% inflation in the marketplace, right? College, there's no 4% inflation there. Medical, there's no 4% inflation there. Food, there's no 4% inflation there. right? So these are numbers that they would give us to use to the common, employee, self-employed person who didn't know any better, right? Didn't know any better because they trust the merchants of Wall Street to give them good advice, that it was 4%. So our projection was 4%. But, we have to take personal responsibility for our finances. You and I go to the grocery store. You and I go to the gas pump, right? You and I spend money. We don't need somebody to lie to us, to tell us inflation is 4% when we know it's not 4%, when we know it's higher than 4%, right? But we just sit there and just be gullible and go along with the program. All right. So inflation. Save your questions for the end because we will have questions and answers in about 8 minutes. All right. So inflation is a killer, man, and inflation. And that's another thing I learned. And when I asked the question, why do these wealthy people still continue to get more and more and more and more money? Why is it? Well, one of the reasons, no, it's okay, no problem. One of the reasons why, because they know, right? They have the knowledge that you and I don't have. Their thumb is closer to the pulse of the economy because they are in business, right? It's not buffed between business owner and employee. See, so they know when the economy is turning, right? They have things in the stock market called leading indicators, trailing indicators. So they know when this thing is turning. They know really how bad it is. They can watch the news and read the newspaper and know that they're lying to the people because of their personal experience in talking to other business people, other wealthy people. Okay, so they know that's not right. So one of the reasons why they said, look, we're going to accumulate as much wealth, as much money as we can, because if anybody's going to be able to buy a loaf of bread for $500, it's going to be me and my family because we're a multi-trillionaires, right? Because we own the bread companies, right? So we may not own the bread company, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to understand the enemies, the 3 enemies to your money, the 3 enemies to your money. That's enemy number 2, which might be enemy number 1 at the top of the list. But then the next one is taxation, income tax, federal income tax, tax from the government, the U.S. government, right? You will find the wise of those that have money. You will learn that they pay minimum taxes. You know what? I thought about it a couple years ago. I remember Obama tried to appoint some guy in D.C. when he got in office the first time, right? Thank you very much. The first time he tried to appoint this guy to office, a Democrat, right? Come to find out, the man didn't pay any taxes. He didn't pay any taxes. So he couldn't take the position that Obama wanted to offer him. And then, that started kind of buzzing around. And who else don't pay taxes? And I said, Obama's he's a neophyte. Those boys on Capitol Hill don't pay taxes, right? They're above the law. But him being new, he didn't realize that. They don't pay taxes. They have money offshore not to pay taxes. So the thought that came to my mind, for the wealthy and the rich, they're of a different mantra than you and I. The wealthy and the rich believes that if you're a true patriot, if you're smart, right? If you understand America and free enterprise and capitalism, and if you understand interest, inflation, and taxes, you don't pay hardly any of those. So you're smart when your money, when you're affected least by each one of those. When inflation doesn't affect you, you're on your game. When interest, you don't hardly pay any interest on any money you borrow because your credit is so good, because you know the game. Because your balance sheet for your LLC and your corporation is so strong, you know the game, the rules to the game. So you borrowing money at 2 and 3%. You borrow money from overseas. You borrow money from other people from other countries that you can negotiate the interest rate on, because it's what they call private money. Right, realtor in Atlanta, private money that primarily goes into real estate. Private money, ladies and gentlemen. So taxes, right? And a lot of us who don't know any better, we cry about taxes. Let me just tell you something that I learned as a stockbroker. The rich have the same tax laws that you and I have. You don't expect the rich to come and tell you how to become rich like them. That's what they're telling their friends. And unless you're one of their friends that they like a lot, they're not going to tell you. That's why I'm on here on these live streams to tell you, to say, come on, you guys, go to my website, DarrellMuhammad.net. Let's connect so we can play the money game together. Right? So we can play the money game together. And see, that's another thing that the wealthy do. They pull their resources. They pool their resources. When times get hard, they pool their resources. And then when times get better, then they break up and go their own separate ways. I forgot who said it, but I heard it recently. We don't have common interests. We just have common enemies, I think is the saying. Right? Our common enemy is inflation, interest, and taxes. Why do you think the tax code are written for the wealthy and for those in real estate? Business owner and real estate. You call that a hint to the wise. Real estate. But we don't want to do real estate. We don't want to do that. See, we're programmed not to do what's in our best interest. We're programmed to do what's in the best interest of other people. Why we just get Gucci this and Michael Kors that and, all these other, these trinkets, right? These trinkets, they're trinkets. Right, ladies and gentlemen? So I'm trying to teach you how to play the money game. How to play the money game. And just like any other game, the more often you do it, the more you learn. The more often you do it, the more you learn. The more often you do it, the better you get at the game. The better you get at that game, at that high level of practicing the rules to the money game. So go start putting your questions in. We're going to open up for questions. So taxes, ladies and gentlemen, taxes. The government, as long as there's inflation, they will always raise up taxes. If you start studying governments around the world, the poor people through taxes pay for the rich people. The bailout that took place a couple of years ago, right? The $700 billion that bailed out these banks. Who you think paying for it? Taxpayers. Taxpayers, ladies and gentlemen. Taxpayers are going to pay for it. They're going to be taxed because the taxpayers don't know. And then we're not telling them. We all should be gathering our friends, our families, to share this information. That's why it's on here. That's why I'm sharing it. Right? Too many of us hoard the information. I covered that yesterday. So those are three enemies. Once again, is inflation, interest, and taxation. How to play the money game. Three enemies to your money. Three enemies to your money. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, let's open up for questions. It look like I'm going to be able to end on time. All right. So it's 5 minutes till the bottom of the hour. Do you have any questions? Hey, Meerkatters, how you doing? I don't see anybody restreaming over there. Meerkat, go ahead and restream. I'm sorry for it. Oh, there you go. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right. Any questions? TISA 4E2G. All right. Any questions, you guys? Good information. Thank you, Realtor. Go ahead and pitch in. What question or comment do you have, Ms. Atlanta Realtor? All right. Any questions, you guys? Any questions? Now, of course, each one of these are disciplines and studies of their own. Right. What my objective here, excuse me, is to do what's required, and that's to lift the lid, right? You lift the lid, you can see the potential. You covered everything, thanks. You can lift the lid and see what's going on. It's when the lid is closed that the ceiling is your limit, right? So now you can say, wow, that was interesting what Darrell said. Let me look into this inflation. Wow, that's interesting what Darrell said. Let me look into this, into these taxations. Should we expect to get an IRS, why should you expect to get an IRS audit? If you expect to get it, you probably get it. If you put that kind of vibration out there. But if you use a professional tax preparer who has experience in filing the type of taxes that you're doing, money masters. Yeah. Right. But audit, see, the government, you can't stop the government from auditing you. Right? Just like I can't stop you from suing me, and you can't stop me from suing you. Another thing, I'm glad you brought that up. Another thing that I learned on this journey that I'm on and as a stockbroker, do you know in truth, if we're going to be entrepreneurs and professional career entrepreneurs, it's almost impossible for you to be an entrepreneur in a you know, a real one now. I'm talking about a real one, right? Not one that just won't just do enough to get trinkets, but a real one. You have to assume, okay, some point I'm going to get sued, right? At some point, the IRS is going to audit me. See, that's sometime an indicator on your level of success. Don't you think Donald Trump gets sued? Don't you think, or whoever you want to use, Michael Dell or whoever, don't you think these people get sued and folks that we don't know of? Of course they do. But that's part of the game. See, we have to learn the money game. We have to learn the money game. It's like as you become more successful, some of your friends and family going to hate on you. That's the price you pay for winning in the money game. See, so it's that kind of understanding. What should people do with their 401k plan? Well, here's what you can do. They have money put aside for lawsuits. Yeah, they have money put, or they have what is a service I had for a long time. I need to get again is prepaid legal. It's attorney insurance. All right. Yeah, they set aside it or they buy, attorney insurance. See, the common man who can't afford always gets insurance. Insurance is for a replacement of income. But your 401k plan, you can put in something what they call a self-directed IRA. And we'll cover that, Sister Candace, probably in some of our real estate training that we're going to do. But yeah, you can roll that over into a self-directed, you directing that IRA. It's not at your major Wall Street brokerage firms. You'll have to just Google it and find it, but you can roll it over there. And then that money, you can do a whole lot with it that you can't do at the brokerage firms, because the brokerage firm just trying to sell you insurance, mutual funds or stocks or bonds. When you self-direct, you can put, now listen very carefully, when you put your IRA in a self-directed IRA, a truly self-directed IRA, you can loan that money to investors, real estate investors. Let me be specific. You can loan that to real estate investors. Your IRA can take that money. Your IRA can take that money and buy rental property owned by the IRA, and all the income goes back into the IRA. The money game, ladies and gentlemen, you have to learn how to play the money game. That's why I'm always reading. This is the first book that Anthony Robbins written in about 20 years. Right? When I first heard about it, the question wasn't, I've had 2 clients this year pull their 401k for buying. There you go. All right. So that he hasn't written in 20 years about money. So it wasn't the case on Darrell, are you going to get it? No, the question was, when was I going to get it? All right. That was the question. Okay. So good question. 401k. I don't believe in the stock market anymore. Your knowledge should grow. Right? Your level of sophistication should grow. And that industry is just manipulated. That industry is just manipulated. It's the playground for the big boys to play in. Right? And they sell it to the little people so the little people can finance the mistakes that they make playing, gambling on the table. All right? Byron liked it. Byron and Aaron, thank you for restreaming. Thank you very much. We're doing this every day, Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock. You know, I might just show up tomorrow just because. You know why? Because that's what wealthy people do. Wealthy people, wealthy-minded people, determined people, ambitious people don't do what normal people do. They may not take off all day tomorrow, but they know that normal people, average people that just want to get by, living paycheck to paycheck, going to take all of tomorrow off. They say, well, if I can squeeze in an hour or two, then I can get close. It's not a competition. I can edge them out. No, I can get closer to my goal. We said yesterday, right? It's a race. It's a race, time, life circumstances, and inflation. Those are 3 things you're trying to beat. You're trying to beat and get to your finish line. Still working tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Tomorrow. Hey, Miss Atlanta, I need some multifamily properties down there in Atlanta. All right. So we need to connect. You need my telephone number. Reach out to me, 713-817-5952. I need some ears and eyes on the street. All right. I need some eyes on the street of Atlanta. All right. I need some multifamily, 20 units and up. 20 units and up. So let's get together. Let's make this happen. Time. Remember, you got to outrace time. Got to outrace life circumstances, and you have to outrace inflation. Inflation. That's what we have to outrace. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right. Check for you. All right. Well, touch base with me first. I can tell you the parameters that I'm looking for so you won't waste your time. Okay. All right. So I can tell you what cap rate and all that good stuff that I'm looking for. But yeah, any other questions? All right. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any other questions over there at Meerkat? Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Any other questions about money, ladies and gentlemen? It's a long journey. You might as well get started on it now. You might as well stay on it. Don't get off of it. It's not about the superficial. If we're still in the superficial realm of wealth and money and riches, it only shows that we don't understand. We're not that mature in our level of understanding. Not that you don't get those things, but those things are not your focus of concentration, right? Those things you get for what their purpose is. And that's to be creature comforts, right? To make you feel good, right? That's what they're for, right? But they're not to give you value. You give it value no matter how much you pay for it. All right. So get in the money game. Learn the money game. There's a few folks out there that can teach you the money game. You can learn the money game from. I'm here just to prick your consciousness, right? Once you know the possibilities, that should drive you and push you to find out more. And as it was said back in the early days of slavery, if you want to keep something away from the slave, put it in a book. Now that concept as slave in America has been expanded, right? Has been expanded, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just here to tell you, has been expanded. You're a member. Okay, well, that's good. Let's go ahead and block you so you can find something else to do with your life. All right. So it's expanded. Slave, the definition is slave has expanded, right? It has expanded. It has expanded, ladies. So it's not just black, right? People we became slave because we don't have this financial knowledge. We have slave because we don't understand what kind of energy is required. Right? And we don't know where to direct our energy. So like I said at the beginning, it has become more so now than ever, in my opinion, right? That America has become every man for himself and God for us all. Unless those of us come together and unite, right? Unite to take collective action, not unite and say, oh, Darrell, that was good. Oh, yes, I do that. I knew that. Oh, yeah, me and no. Oh, you're another one that believe in that? Oh, you're another one? You had 3 people with you? Come on over here. Or I'll come over there. Or meet me here. That's what they do. That's what why do you think they have these G7 meetings or whatever it's called? G20 meetings. Head of world governments get together. What do you think they're talking about? Right? What do you think? Why they have enough sense to know they need to come together? Because they're codependent on each other. We have to do the same, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm here every day of the week and then some. To look for people who are looking for me, because I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you enough to come here every day looking for you. And when I find you, I want to reach out to you. I want us to connect so we can do this thing. Because, see, that's another thing, too. See, we're around here thinking, oh, as soon as I find that person, that's going to be the person. See, once again, that job mentality. Get this job and I'm going to stay on it forever. Nobody stays on jobs forever. Right? Ms. Atlanta Realtor, nobody keeps keep a house forever. People don't stay in houses 30 years anymore. I think the average when I was a realtor a long time ago was like 5-year average. See? So the realtor can have a client that they sell a home to every 5 years. Right? See, so once again, we're operating on this mentality that things are going to be, but the environment has changed. You're not going to be on a job, right? 30 and 40 years. That's not going to happen. So we have to learn the money game, ladies and gentlemen, how to play it. So those life circumstances, remember the race. So you're going to be unemployed at some point. You're going to be sick at some point. Some point you're not going to be able to work. At some point, gasoline's going to be at $7 and $10. Well, not before I die. Well, that means you don't care about your children. Once again, the wealthy accumulating wealth, not for them. So their seed, their name, their last name, as Damon Dash says, he hustles for his last name. The last name will be able to survive. Don't nobody care about you. Damon Dash said, you selfish. If you only care about your first name, I'm on Darrell balling. Darrell got it going on. You only sacrifice and hustle for your first name. You selfish. Hustle for your last name, ladies and gentlemen. Hustle for generations yet born. That's why the wealthy continue to build wealth. That's why Donald Trump is trying to get more money and more money and more money. He wants to secure generations that are yet born. Right? So that's what we have to do. If every man got to look out for himself, then you better look out for yourself, your 15 generations, and get with people that's doing the same. Absolutely. Generational wealth. But you got to know the money. You got to know the basic money game, ladies and gentlemen. This is basic stuff. These are just topics. You got to go and do your research. You got to go and invest your money in getting the information that would tell you more about inflation, tell you more about interest, tell you more about taxes. End of the year, right? Time to file taxes. We're doing tax. We're covering some basic strategies on our private elusive club on Sunday night. We talked about the 3 things you need to do, right? The 3 tips of the wealthy that you're going to implement in 2016. We covered that last week on our private group. But here's one. Get you a home-based business, ladies and gentlemen. Get you an LLC. Go sign up for some network marketing company. Oh, I don't want to. See, no, you're doing what you want to do. And that's why we're getting what we get that we don't like. Right? We're talking about taxes. We're not talking about what you feel like doing. Go start you like vitamins or health or girdles or whatever. There's enough network marketing companies out there that has a product you like. Get it. And then that'll be a piece of the tax strategy puzzle. I'm about to add a few more streams. Okay, good. That's exactly what it is, right? It's about streams of income. It's about streams of income, right? Nobody would tell you who's better or Obama. You're better than both of them, right? You're better than both of them. Who's better? Better to do what? Who's better? Better that can control your future, control your economy, to look out for your family? Who's better? You're better than all of them. Because they're looking out for their family. They're looking out for their future. If it was a choice between Obama and Putin and which one they would choose over their family and yours, you'll be stupid to think any one of them would choose you over them. That's a very naive question. Very, very naive. See, you're part of the mass. You're part of the group. You're part of the herd. They call them sheeples. Sheeples. Right? People who are sheep. See, Donald Trump and them boys, when they get in private rooms, you know what side they take? They take both sides. That's the other thing I learned about the rich. They come out and say, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. But you know who they contribute money to? Sheeples. You know who they donate money to? Both sides. That way they don't lose. They bet in themselves. So you want to vote? Who's better? If you don't know you better than any politician, you're at the wrong place. You don't have to come here back. You don't have to come here anymore. Go somewhere else where they're talking about the comparison between Putin and Obama. Don't come back here anymore if that's your mentality. We, this group right here, we don't need you. Right? If you're going to continue that, you'll be blocked. See, we're playing, right, wrong scope. Right? See, I got soldiers with me. Right? So that's what time it is. So all these trolls and stuff, I'm going to start, if I still start getting more trolls, I'm going to give all of my regular people who support this message, right, to block any troll you see. Because, it's time out for that. People losing their life. There you go. People losing their life over what we talking about. And people, all they know how to do is throw dirt in the water. So thank you for showing up. But get out of here. You're not welcome with that kind of mentality. Sorry, it's a public forum, but we can shut the door and lock you out. So, ladies and gentlemen, how to play the money game, how to play the money game, how to play the money game. We'll talk about politics and money since he brought it up, but not this time, right? Because when you know the truth of all the presidents, we'll just talk about America and what they've done to help and hurt the average quote unquote American, then you'll know the truth of the matter is you better vote for yourself and vote for God. That's your only true vote that you have a chance at winning. If you vote God in the office in your life and you vote you as vice president to God. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, thank you for your time here. We went a little bit over, but this money thing is what really fuels me, man. That's the missing link. That's what's missing in society for the masses of the people is financial literacy. That's the last hold that the elite, the ultra elite have that they're trying not to let go is that knowledge that they have of finances. But the cat is out the bag, ladies and gentlemen. I'm part of that group. All right. I want to be on the right side of history. Ms. Atlanta Realtor, reach out to me. Let's make this thing happen because I just made 51 by God's grace 2 days ago. So I'm trying to outrun this thing called time. All right. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. See you at the top, not from the top. Because but most important, you deserve, your family, but most importantly, your community deserves your very best. Tomorrow, y'all be ready. We know Miss Atlanta Realtor be working, so she'll be able to pop on, right? So I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Don't know what time, but I'll see you tomorrow, just as a little shout out. All right. Take care, everybody. God bless. All right, Meerkatters, thank you. Hey, Gizzer, thank you for restreaming. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Go to DarrellMuhammad.net. Let's connect. Go to DarrellMuhammad.net. Let's connect. Be on standby because I'm going to pop in tomorrow.